can hear me properly. So, in today's session, Alumni Talk session, we are going to walk through bit about React actually. So, let me start today's session. Uh, as I said you earlier, we are going to learn about how React works in software engineering world. So, first of all, uh, thank you, Department of CIS, for having me for this CIS session, alumni session. And my name is Lahiru Ratnayaka, and I'm a senior software engineer in Bank of Singapore in Singapore. So I'm normally doing front-end development, maybe sometimes back-end development also, because it depends, whatever the project you are doing, it depends what are the technology stack you have to use in the industry. Sometimes maybe you working in Angular, then suddenly a new project comes to play and they ask you to move into a React or maybe Vue.js or Ember. It depends. So uh, more about me. I interned at Microsoft Sri Lanka. So then I worked in Asset, a US based company. Then I migrated to Singapore and currently working here as a senior software engineer. And I have participated some hackathon when I was in a university, and you guys should also participate those hackathons because it gives you a lot of experience and opportunities to connect with other people and get to know about the community as well. And few things to let you guys know, like please unmute your mics while this session going on, and you can use like a chat to ask any question if you have any issue regarding this session. Okay, let's move to introduction of React. Okay, as you know, like you may hear about Angular, Vue.js, Ember.js, and React. Those are like very popular front-end framework which used by industry at the moment. And there's a little bit different because I can say like Angular, Vue, Ember is like normally a template-centric development things, and React is more into JavaScript centric library. So main difference is like these Angular, Vue, and Ember are frameworks. I'll explain you later. So those are like frameworks, but React is not actually a framework. It's a library. Okay. And you may heard about like back-end development, front-end development, and full stack development. So let me a little bit explain about that thing. So back-end development is like developers who are built like how a website works, like the logics, business logics, and all those stuff. Then the front-end development, developers who are like who create the interfaces for consumers to use or interact with your application. And when we talk about full stack, that means like you work on like both ends, back end or maybe front end. So when I talk about back end, it's like normally the like Java, PHP kind of frameworks. But when I talk about front end, it's basically in like three pillars like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So like on top of those like pillars, like companies or individually people created like libraries or frameworks like Angular, Ember, Vue, or React. So today we are going to learn about this React. So it's developed by like created by Facebook in 2011, and they have open sourced it in 2013. And because this is like this is a new kind of library, So people first think, okay, what is this one? Okay, this there was some performance issues and blah blah blah. But then after Facebook investigated that one and fixed those bugs, then it became more popular in among the community. So in 2014 becomes like more popular, like people like they got more attention to React. Then 2015 they released React Native, which we used to create mobile application. And then 2016 React 15, and that's like version 15. And today we are using React version 16. So this is like a very small history about React, how it evolved throughout like last few years. Um, then the problem, why we need React? Okay, because this one is more flexible. Why? Because this is more into a JavaScript. So if you know JavaScript, you can develop this one very well. And even like React API is very simple one. So once you learn those few concepts, then you're on the go. It's very fast you to get into React. In the like developer experience also like same. So once you learn that basic concept of React, you can develop it very fast. Then other thing is like Facebook. They are the one who created, and still they are maintaining that library. So they have like permanent staff doing all the code development thing or adding new features and everything. So they have like permanent staff doing or maintaining this stuff. And also the community, like there's a huge community, and a lot of enterprises and companies contributed to this React platform. Like Microsoft, they created like React Fabric to Microsoft related user interfaces. Then React Bootstrap, maybe React. Um, Again, there's a Material UI from Google. So a lot of major companies contribute for this React. So then I'm pretty much sure like you know all those like these brands. So if you go to their websites, those websites maybe completely or partially built through React. So today we are not going to talk about React VR or React Native or those kind of stuff, but we are going to get it into by React JS, which is we basically used to develop a web application using React. So if you see like Netflix, Atlassian, Khan Academy, PayPal, Uber, Facebook like it's not like fully use React, but partially using React. TikTok, WordPress, Microsoft, a lot of companies right now like move into React because the great flexibility and very like simplicity of that library. So again, let me talk about a little bit about this thing. React is not a framework. That means it's very lightweight. So you are getting like very uh, simple file set for you to get started. But when we compare it to Angular or Ember or whatever it is, those are like frameworks. So once you install, you get like whole lot of bundle like for handle routing, for handle form validation, for animation, like a lot of small modules like you are getting with the Angular when you installing. But when you install in React, you don't get much. You don't have React routing, no, you don't have test framework, you don't have like you get very small package library for you to develop. So that's why I like, because it's like library, it's lightweight and it's easy to debug because there's no big like coupling things. And then you can choose what you want to add into React application. Okay, let's say you want you develop React and you want test framework like Jest, then you can add. If you want another framework, then you can choose another framework or library. So in framework you cannot do, because it's already fixed, and contents are already there to use. And when we using React, another thing is, in like, let's like compare like Angular. So Angular, you have like two-way binding. So that means like you can type something and it's appear other way in another section, and when you do something then another section, it will appear on other uh, you input HTML tag or whatever. So it's like two-way binding. Because of that, it's less coding. You don't have to do much code. It's sync up each other. And but the React is one-way binding. So that means you have to little bit like you have to do little bit more in code. So we are going to learn about those stuff later. So this is like a small description about React. So then again, if I compare React and Angular, so React only provides you the components part, but they not provide you a testing or HTTP library or routing, animation, form validation. But when you install Angular, you get everything. You get component, you get testing packages, routing, animation, everything. But even though you are not getting components, you can plug in these other libraries like for testing Jest or Mocha, or HTTP library, Fetch or Axios for routing, React Router or anything. You can work on it. So then let's look at a little bit about the code. So as I told you earlier, like it's React is like JavaScript centric, but uh, other frameworks like Angular or Vue is like template centric. So when we call like talk about template centric, that means like you have to learn about syntax, especially like you see like in Angular it's used for if condition. If you want to add if condition, you have to use ng if, or Vue.js you have to v dash if, or Ember is like different way. But everything like you are doing some JS parts in your HTML. But in React, other way around, it's like you are doing your HTML stuff inside JavaScript. That means other way around, if you want to learn React, then you have to learn JavaScript. That means like if you know JavaScript, that means you can do a lot of stuff other than template centric thing. But both framework or library has their own trade-offs or benefits and everything. So another thing, uh, React normally use JSX, that means JavaScript XML rather than HTML, but those are like very similar. And React, there's another issues like maybe potential version conflicts, because as I told you, like you have to install separate libraries to get your application done. So this is like a small comparison to HTML and JX. So if we use like class attribute in HTML, but in JSX, that means JavaScript XML, we use class name instead of class. So for if we use for, then in JSX we use HTML4. Okay, that's like a basic introduction about React. Even though like if you search in Google, you can get like a lot of resource about like why you should use React, or what's the history of React, a lot of stuff. But what is missing is like how we going to start our first React application. So let's get started with the React application. So let me open my Visual Studio Code. So I'm using Visual Studio Code here to show you a lot of demos. So okay, Okay, guys. So before I show this one, let me show you what the application looks like. We are going to create this small application, which is very simple. You can see like all the sessions in Alumni Talk, and you can search for session. That's our simple application uh, explanation. So let let us start coding here. So first I create like very small like HTML application. There's nothing in this HTML application, just HTML. And here I have used like Bootstrap to make it a little bit responsive and uh, more beautiful actually. So this is like this responsive comes with Bootstrap. So that's all. Other than that, there's nothing. It's like a normal HTML head, then title tag, and this is like style sheet for Bootstrap, then scripts, jQuery and Bootstrap. Uh, and here, when I start, like we have a header with image, okay, and the name of department. Then we have content. That means our search form. That means input. There's input text box and button to search something, and next to show some results. So because there's some dynamic thing here, so it's very static. So I created like three static content to. So then the last like the copyright, and this is like model, but we actually not use in this part. So again, this is like header part. Then we have content part, which have like two things. Like we have like text box and a button to search something. Then we have like list items to show each session, and we have footer part. Okay, let's see how we start React. Okay, before we install any package through npm or whatever other thing, we can still use React inside our static HTML page. How? So what you have to do is just bring these two packages. So one is like React development or React JavaScript package, and other one is React DOM. React DOM is like it's where instruct HTML DOM or document object model. That means document free, how it appears in web browser. So we need that like React DOM and React JavaScript packages to get started. Okay, so once we have these two things, I have removed all other every HTML things. So if you see like here, I have a lot of HTML divs here. So I remove all this stuff, and I have only this root div element. So then after that, I'm going to create my first React application in static way. So what I need is like this is my header component. So it's the same thing I am copied from here. So I copied from here and I paste it here. Uh, so we are going to write this whole HTML using React. So how we write this one? So first we have to declare variable like heading. Let's say then this is the JavaScript function which calls React library and asks it to create an element or whatever inside the browser. So you need a React dot create element. Then first parameter is like what kind of element do you want, whether it's a div or whether it's a h1 like a heading or table or whatever. So I say like it's div, because my first element is div. uh, so then second element is like what are the attributes in your div. So here I have class, so I can use that class like this. Remember, this is like JavaScript. This is not HTML. This is Java, like completely JavaScript. So React, create element, what you want, div, then what are the attributes, and what should be the name. Let's say hello React. Let's see. So once you create this one, still it's not appearing in your browser. Let me go to this second thing. So index with React. That's nothing. Why? Because we have to say our DOM, hey React DOM, like hey DOM, please render this heading part inside my browser. So for that we need like React DOM dot render. What we want to render is heading. That means this part. Whatever HTML tags created with this JavaScript function, please use that part to render into this document. This is pure JavaScript. Document.get element by ID. What is the element ID? Is root. So this is like div and ID is root. So I'm going to create this div, small div, and I'm going to inject it inside this div, which is named by like ID by root. So let's see how it works. Okay, let me check this. Mm. Let me bring this live. Okay, I think we have issue with demo. By the way, let me a little bit explain this one and show you later. So, what this one doing is like it will create some variable and it says like React, please create element like div with the class name of this called MD12 and header, and inside that div type hello React. So once it created, then we say like hey heading, render that element inside uh, this root div. So that's the basic idea of creating React. But the problem is, if you need like more children inside your div, then you have to create those create element function like this. So you see like there's a div element and with the class and there's nothing. Then after that div element, you have another image children, and there's another h2 element to hold Department of Computing and Information, the header. So this is like less readable, and it's very difficult when you have like bigger HTML tree to do with this way. That's why it comes JSX, because it's very easier to write your code, and it's very easy to read JSX code. And if I want to convert this React, this JavaScript function to JSX, let's see how we going to do that one. So I'll open this one. For this one, other than two React packages, I need another one called Babel. So you need Babel, and you have to tell your script. Uh, please not like this is not JavaScript. Normally we used to have like text JavaScript, but this should be text Babel. So here again we have to write this code, but now it's very simple and readable. So it's same thing, but with like kind of HTML tags. But this is not HTML. This is JSX. You see, like in JSX, we define classes as class name. So then it's like 90% like HTML, but mainly this is JSX. So it's same thing. You have heading and you have JSX thing. Other than that, this rendering part is same. You are getting this heading part, and you are going to render it in the root element in the body. So maybe let's try whether this one working. Oh, this one. Okay, that one I'm happy it's working. Uh, so now this part actually coming from JSX. If I show you, or if I change this one, maybe you see it's changed. It's coming from JSX. I hope now you get an idea about like how you can add your static add React into your static HTML page. But this one is not much good because you have to use like external CDN for React. Like you have to get these packages, and there's like a lot of limitations. So in production, we are not going to use like this. So now we will move to like how we can really create our own environment and start building React. So this is like for you to start somewhere the React. So let me take you through how you set up your first React application in your own computer. So for that one, we need like you need to download Node.js. So you can go to nodejs.org, or then you can download whether it's Windows version or the other versions. Then, as you like seen earlier, like I have used Visual Studio Code. You can download Visual Studio Code free from this website, like code.visualstudio.com/download. So you need both these application to run your first React code. Okay. Easiest way to create your React app is using create React app. There's a like template which have like which you have all or everything configured and everything ready for you to start your React app. So So because I have already installed my Node.js, so I can check whether it's installed properly or not, like a npm dot version. So if it's properly installed, you can see the version number. So my current version is 6.14.4. So there's another npm executable thing. Yeah, you can check that one also, like this. So okay, this is my command prompt. There's nothing else. So I have already installed my npm Node.js, and I have Visual Studio Code separately. But I'm going to use my command prompt to create my first React application. Let's see how. So I go to command prompt, and this is my directory where I am right now. So then I'm going to desktop. So now I'm in my desktop. Then I'm going to create my first React app using create React app boilerplate or the template. So we need like npx, then we have to type create React app, and then we need the name of your React directory or whatever folder name you want. So I say like hello React. So this is my directory. So all the files what I created in React goes under this hello React directory, which is going to create it inside desktop. So only code I need is npx create dash react dash app, then directory name. Let's see. So I pressed enter. Okay, you see like now it's starting installing all the packages you want to start your first React app. But keep in mind, like without this create React app, you can start from the beginning. Like, but the problem is if you are very new to React, then it's like it's going to be a nightmare because you have to install one by one all the packages and configure it properly, and then you can get started. But if you are very new to React, this is the easiest way you can start your React development. You just download the node and type this npx create React app and your uh, directory name. So because it takes a little bit time, so I have already created one from this create React app. So let me show you that one. Okay, this is I created a little bit earlier today. So I use the same thing, npx create app and mini app. So it's install this stuff and install all the packages and configured for me. Then after I done that one, it showed me these few thing like success created this app in this thing, and you can start by using these few command: npm start, npm run, build, npm test. So we are going to start or run this application. Let's see how. So once like after I install my React, it comes to my parent directory. So I have to go inside my newly created directory. So earlier it was like alumni app. So I go inside that application, and then I am going to run it using npm start. So give it a moment. So it will run your React app. Okay, it's running on your local host in the port 3000. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, this is your first React app. Nothing else, your React logo, and it says like edit source slash app js and save to reload. So now let's see how we create uh, this application I showed you earlier using React, this application. So I have this app and it's already running. So I'm going to uh, launch my Visual Code Studio Code. Okay, I have my Visual Studio Code. I'm going to open that folder. So it's in my desktop, and see this the thing I already created one just now. I think it's still creating that part. So I go to this Alumni app. Okay, let's see. Let's open this one in my Visual Studio Code. Okay, you see, like once you install your Alumni app, you can see node modules. So these are like if you like manually install, you have to install this stuff and you have to configure it manually. But this template it create all this stuff for you. Then you have src and you have app.js. That's what they ask you to edit and see whether there's a difference. So let me show you side by side. So we have React app, we have our code editor. So let's try to change something. Okay, maybe editor. I change it hello. React. And I save. You see, like once you save, it will automatically reflect on your React app. So you can see everything once you uh, developing your application. So don't worry about these function app things. We are going to see everything from the beginning. So let me start with header part. In React, before I start with that header part, I need to tell you like so now you like how to setting up your environment. So for you to develop React, you need to know like what is components, what is props, what is state, those kind of small concepts. So component, it's basically a small container which hold your HTML. So you may have a like small component and get together another big component, and those component work together for another big component. It's like a tree. Like you start from small thing, and it's add up to a parent stuff, and it creates a big component. Let me show you like this. Okay, in our application, you see like this green color squares. So those are like very small component. So you have like 5 components here. So all these components get together, create another component like this purple color component. Then using those purple color components together, you have this list of session. So this session item is one component, and inside that component you have small components to hold your picture, then the name or date, everything. Then you have bigger component to keep all those session items together. And even when we compare, like when we think about our whole application, we have like separate components. Like we can say like we have header component here which holds all the header related HTML things. Then we have component here to search something. Then we have component here to uh, uh, show you the result. Then we have a footer component to show you like who created this website, like that. So in the component thing, we have two separate components. Like one is simple component, other one is class component. Simple component is like we are using simple JavaScript function to create component. But in the other hand, class component is it's a little bit new because it comes with the newer version of JavaScript. So we use class to create a component. Let's see how we going to do this one. So let me go with our React app. So first, we'll create a small component like a header. So before that, you have to import your React. This is like a React module. You are getting a React module from this location to your application called React. Okay, import React from React. That means where you taking this one, and this is the name we are going to refer inside this file of the application. So then you have a logo because this is like React logo. We don't need actually this one, and this is like a style class. So let me first start with adding some styles I have pre-created earlier. So let me create some styles. So I'll add a style here. So you see like it's normal CSS file with the header, content, footer, and all those style together. So it's easy for me to show you what's going on. Then I'll add some images. I need images. So I'll add some images to my application. Okay, now let's create like a function component. How we going to create is like we'll name it like const header, and you can create function like this with the arrow functions. Then return inside this return. We are going to write our JXX. That means our JXX thing we have used earlier. So it's like you have this class with the like these classes and these images and this name. So this is like simple function component which we created to use inside our React app. Okay, let's see how we use this one. Okay, not this one. This one. Before that, I'll show you like this is the first starting point. You have a root here, div id root here. So maybe I'll take this. Yeah, I'll keep root here. Then I'll remove this whole part. So this is again another component. So we have like two components. One is header component. You can define like this, or otherwise you can say like function app like this. So I'm going to add a div here. This is like JSX syntax. And inside this div, I'm going to have this header. How I'm going to have this header? I can have it like this. Okay, let's see whether it's working or not. Okay, we have issue with this image thing. Because it says like image is not working. We'll see. Okay, we have image here. So let's see. Okay, now we have our image and name, but we missing the styles. So we'll add our style sheet. I think inside index. I think it's easy to add here. Okay, where am I? Now let's try. Okay. I am missing bootstrap also. Let me add bootstrap. Okay, not yet. Okay, by the way. Oh, we are running. Okay, let me remove this one. Okay, however, okay, let me check styles later maybe, but you can define a function component like this. So let me create another component. to hold a footer is easy. So you can have footer like this. So you have a div class and footer, then you can get that footer like this. And okay, you have footer, but style is not there yet. But okay, we'll move forward. Then we need like content component to have that middle result and the search things. So let me create that content class using class component style. So for us to create a component like class, we have to create our component like this. So you have to use class, then content, then we have to extend that class from react dot component. Then normally in classes you can have a constructor, and then here comes you have properties, uh, and because we are extending from react component to this content component, we have to pass these same properties into react component. That means your superclass. So I have to pass these props to my superclass. So another important thing is like when you're using class component, there's one function you have to always implement. That is like the render. This is an important function you have to implement if you are using a class component. So inside this render function, I say like return. Okay, let me take. Okay. I'll remove this to hello content. So let's see whether my content is there. Oh, still not there because if you remember, I haven't add content here. Content. So now you have like two components coming into your app component. That's why I say like you can create children component and you can get together to create like a parent component. So in here app component is like bigger one, and it refers to child component like header. That means like you have a header, then you have a footer, and you have a content. So let's see. Okay, though we have like we don't have like styles yet, but we have hello content here, load from content component, then from footer component we load this one, and from header component we uh, load this content. So altogether all these are included inside the app component. So I think like you get like basic idea about a component. So then let me tell you one thing, because if you are going to like a code all the component inside one file, then this will become bigger and bigger, then even you cannot find what you are building. So better way is you can uh, create or move this one component into a small file. Let's say I'll create a it's like this. I'll create a folder to have my components, and I'll add new JS file like header.js. So then I'm going to move this header component into my header.js. When you move this one, you need to import your React module to make it work. So I am going to import React from React. Then, even though we define this function, we need to make it available to other files, so other places in my application. What I'm going to use is export default. I'm going to use this name. So I create a separate file for my component. Then it's very clear, very simple. So this file only handles my header component. So I have a header with image and name. So I'm going to use this component inside my app like this. But when we use that one, actually we don't need to write our header component inside this same file. So let's see whether it's working. Because you have to always uh, check whether it's working or not. Otherwise, you may end up with a lot of difficulties. So it's okay. It says JSX is not defined. Okay, let me open one of like a working example. Otherwise, this is getting late. So let me come with this one. So you have header component built separately, and I have moved all header, footer, and content component separately. So we'll talk about header. So in your app, okay, I missed something in that file. That's why it's not showing. Maybe I'll correct that one. So not this one. Okay, because we created differently, we have to import that inside our app.js. So we have to import our header from components dot header. Let's check. Oh, sorry. Okay, now you see like, because actually I forgot this part. So once you move your component into different file, you have to export it and you have to import from whatever component you need. So now you know like how you create a component using a function, like function like a component or simple component, or otherwise like class like a component. So let me print another application because it will save our time. Okay, this one. So here what I did is like I am import this header, footer, and content component from different files. So then my app component is very small. You see like a header component there, content component, and footer component. This is like a simple component. So if I go to header component, you see like I just import React, then I define function, and inside function I wrote JSX and I export. Then footer like that. Then content. When I come to content, is a little bit different. So first, let me run this application. Okay. To run this application, I'm going to say npm stat as earlier. So this one has styles and everything. So we can move further. So my new file going to run in port 3001 because earlier I had another application running on 3000. So this is like a complete React application created earlier. So we have created already a header component. We have created a footer component. So we are like of this component. So let's take a look at that one. So okay, in content, before content, we'll create another two component for handle our uh, session items. That means this item as a component and this whole list as a component. Let's see that component. So just look at this part. So you have a div and you have image, you have the title and everything. So difference is I have a props. That means properties passed to this component by the component list. So what I use is I use that properties and I'm going to use it like this. So I have like, if I, okay, let me show you. I have a data set like this. I have a ID, it's like array item with like ID as a property, name and a speaker, designation, everything. So I'm going to read this data set for each session and I'm going to show it here like this. So however, like that list comes as a property into this component and I'm assigned that property as a session and I'm going to use session.image, session.name. That is the same names you see inside this JSON object. So ID, name, speaker, everything is inside this item. So session item, session speaker, designation, date, and everything. So if I go to a session list, it's like this. It's very simple. So it also get a property from contain, and it's going to loop through all the object inside that array and going to pass it to session item. So here, if you see like for session list, I'm importing session item from session item JS file. So then whatever sessions I'm getting here, I'm map into as a like a session item. So I'm passing this session object to here. You may see like why we have like three separate dots here. We call this like separate. We use it to like spread our object as a each property. So if I say like if my array get three like objects, so I get one object from mapping function, and I spread all the properties inside that session, and I pass it to a session item. So that's why you can use session.id, session.name, session.speaker, or designation likewise. So that's how like props come to play, because all the data we are passing through props to all the components. So problem is this is like a one way binding we are using in React. So because of that, we have to always pass data from parent to child. We can't pass from child to parent. So we have to pass everything from parent to child. So we know like we need that data set both in form, in here form. That means like when you type something, we have to filter out what's inside there, and we have to use in this list as well. Because of that, I have to bring that data set actually from this content component. So what I'm doing here is, okay, let me show you like test data. So I'm passing this test data here. Okay, let me, okay, I'll do like this, then you'll understand. So I'll pass test data to my component. Then you will see like when you load, uh, it will load everything from the test. So maybe if I going to show comment out one thing. So you see like it's coming from test data, and it passed to my session list is another component as sessions. So this is the name it passed to props in session list. So in this props, you get the session list. See sessions. This is the same name I am passing into session list as a sessions. So once you have this data set, uh, let me go through the states. I think we have a little bit more time, I guess. So we'll move to a state, because we need for React we need a component. We know component now. We need a props, and we need a state. Uh, Props, and we need state. So what does state does is like it change your application according to its state changes. I don't think like I have way to show you properly, but I'll make it very fast. So in a class, you can easily define a state like this. So you have to just mention like this state and equal, and you can type any name here. Okay, list of items. So I make it a array, because then I can pass that array into my session list. So list of items, because of that, I have to pass this as a list dot state dot list of items. So this list of items, I'll get data from here. Oh. Okay, because okay, we have a change session here. Okay, okay, let's me remove this part and so okay, we have a session here. Then I'll show you such forms. Uh, in such form, it's also like class component. So then I read value from the text box and I pass it to my API. I have API created for get these details, and I'm sending that search value into that API, and I get that details. So how I update my session is, if I go to content, I have a on submit for search form component. And when I receive something, I'm going to change the result by setting my state to a different session. So I think this is like hope you guys have like too much for basic stuff. But what I want to tell you is like for you to start React, first use create React app after you download Node using your command prompt or terminal. Then just look at a component. How you can create components like two ways. One is uh, simple component, then you can create a component using class component. So we learn about both things. Then if you want to pass your data from component to component, you can pass it to through the props. So you can, props is like a object. You can add any function or any property inside props, and you can use it inside a child function. So if you pass a function as a property, like in here, so I pass this function. So this is like change result. This is like function inside class. So I'm going to pass this function as a property called on submit. So my search form actually catch that property in here, and using that data it pass to update session data. So this is basic things in React for you to get started. I'll share this code example so you can go through with that thing. Uh, so in summary, we learn why we need a React and what is actually importance of JXX, because like if you see, like if you write pure JavaScript or vanilla JavaScript, then you have to write more code inside your JS file. So it's not readable, it's not simple. So it's better ways like using JSX to create your uh, let's say HTML tag. So once you have JSX, you need library called Bubble, because it converts your JSX syntax into a JavaScript script function which can read from React API. So after that, we learn about environment, uh, how you can set up your own development environment on your machine using a create React app. Then we talk about components and properties. I think you get an idea about components very well, but props maybe a little bit, because there's a lot to tell you about props, but it takes time. Then state, basically state and props used to pass data into like from one component to other component and update the interaction or properties of elements in the browser. Then I haven't talked about forms and services. maybe I'll write some blog post about that thing and I'll share with you. So this is the basic thing you need to start your React journey. uh, and sorry for like last demos, few demos. I want to do more demos, and I realized like it takes more times than I thought. So do you guys have any questions? I think again, it's better to learn React because nowadays a lot of companies ask for React. It's a good time to learn React because if you are already familiar with jQuery kind of a library, it's very easy for you to get into a React. And if you know something about JavaScript, it's easy for you to get into a React. Okay, I have a question like if I am React native developer, does it easy to adapt React? Okay, React, yes, it easy because React components are like a little bit similar, and the different is React rendering engine. So in web-based React, we use like React DOM to render your application component into a browser. But in React Native, they use like a React native rendering theme. But overall, uh, React high-level API is same. So I recommend you to like before you go to React Native because it's like a mobile development thing. So easiest way is like getting started with React JS. Then move on to React Native, or maybe you can move into a React VR, which you use to develop VR applications. So now there's like a lot of like big ecosystem in React. You can move into anything. And another best thing is like if you know React, that means you know JavaScript. JavaScript is like one of top language nowadays in the industry. So if you are not end up with React, but when you start doing this one, you may end up with a good JavaScript developer. Is there any okay, what is the difference between using npm and npx? Okay, npm is like not package manager. That means like you have to first uh, install package manager, and you have to download other packages. But the difference is like this: npx is like executable package thing. So you can directly write your command and execute your modules, and it will do other configuration and everything for you. npm is a little bit because you see like if I use npx, I can write like npx create React app and my React directory. But if I use npm, I have to first like run my React module globally. Then I have to create my React app. So, but now almost like all the people move to npx because it's easy. It's very quick. Okay, then I have another question like, can you explain the use of the Babel partition Excel? Okay, Babel, it's the what it called, okay, compiler, because as I told you, this is how React works. If I write purely JavaScript, I'll make me clear this one. Okay, if you see like this, if you write your pure JavaScript, you have to do like this: React create element, then you have to say div, then what are the properties, what should be inside that one. Then this next React element means it's like this. Okay, you have a div, then inside div, you see there's another thing called image. So this is how you have like more div images, text boxes and everything. Your code will going to be like super huge. So we don't need to do that one. What this JavaScript thing doing is it calls React API and tell it to create this element in the browser. But when you use JSX like this, because this same thing, I'll copy this one from here to here, then you will understand. This is pure JavaScript. You call React API and you do the thing. This is same thing you do by JSX. But the difference, this is much readable and this is very familiar with us because this is 90% equal to HTML. Then the problem, how this JSX convert to uh, this part. Let's say this, okay, let me get only one from here. Okay, this how JSX convert itself to this JavaScript function, this thing. Let's say I don't have anything here. I have only this one. So I have one JSX thing, and if I don't use JSX, it looks like this pure JavaScript and called React Creative. But when I use JSX, then I have to way to convert this same element into a this kind of function code. That's where Babel come. What Babel do is Babel read the JSX and convert into exactly same as this. It converts to this JavaScript function which can understand by a React. So Babel, or you can use TypeScript. Both do the same thing. They read the thing, they convert it to a JavaScript. That's why you need a Babel. I hope you got the idea. But okay, there's another question. What I have to do? Convert a React project to progressive web app. Okay, this one. I think I'm not expert with that part. So maybe I'll search for you and I'll let you know how to convert React project to a progressive app. Another thing is, guys, like okay, you don't need to jump into React very soon, because even you can okay like this by adding this external CDN file from React, you can create your component like by like small component inside your website. Let's say you have a bigger HTML file right now with the list of users or header file. You can easily use these two scripts and convert your header part into a React component. That's what actually Facebook did. They have like PHP version earlier, but they did us like this, like step by step, small components created, like they converted it to a React. So at the end, later you can convert your whole application into a React. Okay, what are the technical skills need for become a good front end developer? Okay, whatever the React or Angular or Ember, whatever it is, you need these three pillars. You need to know HTML, you need to know CSS, you need to know JavaScript, because any web application written in this world use those fundamental things. Because if you see this React thing, even it's created to JavaScript, which can understand by browser. There's nothing else. So if you want to become a good front-end developer, learn JavaScript because it's getting popular. Learn CSS better with maybe Bootstrap because it's responsive, or Foundation. Both packages are used to responsive design. And you can use JavaScript. And with JavaScript, you can go through React path, or you can go through Angular path. Both are popular nowadays in the industry. Difference is like Angular, it's like as I told you, like template centric, but React is JavaScript centric. So in JavaScript, you have like better flexibility to customize your application. For example, what you see in here, Visual Studio Code, it's you can load this same function and everything in the website, and that website actually written in React. So you can understand like okay, when you use React, you can create like Netflix or OneDrive, Dropbox, or the Khan Academy, Pluralsight, whatever thing. So it's much flexible for enterprise and customers level application rather than React, but you need a more coding thing. Okay, major differences between Angular and uh, React. As I told you earlier, like problem is React is like library, very small version. So you need, okay, let's say you want to route your application, then you need to again install React route. Or if you want animation part or form validation part, you need to install separate libraries. But Angular is a framework. So you don't have to do much configuration or things because it's come as a bundle with all the things inside the Angular. And Angular is template centric. Because of that, you need to know about the syntaxes what use inside the HTML tags. As I showed you, ng if or ng4, those kind of syntax you have to know. But React perspective, it's not like that. You have to know the JavaScript. So then if you see like list.map means like JavaScript function still using JavaScript. So that's the difference. So otherwise, okay, I can show you. You see like it's like you need to know like ng if used to condition. So if like is admin variable is true, then it shows hi admin. But in the React perspective, this is like pure JavaScript. You have curly braces and is admin true, then it will only show this one. Another thing is like uh, in here React, you have all the JavaScript flexibility, but in template in Angular, you have some predefined because any language we need like a keywords like plus equal kind of. So because of that, Angular has like less power when they want to customize something. But React, because it's JavaScript, you can use whatever you want there. But again, I think if it's a small application, better to go with React because you have everything. You don't need to configure anything. But if like very complex, um, okay, let's say in Twitter, you have to when you type something, you have to count down your characters, right? So it can be easily done with the React because every key change we can get to a component inside component or function and do something with that one. So again, the thing is like Angular is like JS inside HTML. So you have like JS part, but basically it's HTML. But JavaScript is like HTML. You have HTML here inside JavaScript. I get it. So okay, is it okay to use CSS and Sass for styling and responsive web design without? You can, but the thing is, maybe I don't know. You heard like he's asking like whether you can use CSS and Sass for styling and responsive web designing without using Bootstrap. Okay, Bootstrap actually do a lot of stuff for you because okay, let's say when we come to industry level, projects are critical. We have like timeline. We have to deal with something. Otherwise, our business going to down. I hope you understand that. So then, rather than doing like everything from the scratch, it's better to start with something because Bootstrap people doing like great there. they have created all the things, media queries and everything. But if you done everything by yourself, then you have to address a lot of stuff. So you can use Bootstrap, and even for there's a version for React as a React Bootstrap. So you can use that one. It's like component thing again. You can create buttons, so everything like same Bootstrap. And other than that, you can use Foundation. It's also like a Bootstrap framework we use for design thing. And SAS or LSO, whatever it is, it helps you to create CSS at the end. However, as I told you, the fundamental thing is come to web browser is a CSS. Whether you are developing it through SAS or LSO, whatever you call, it's CSS comes to browser. Uh, is there any other question, guys? I think hmm, I think that's all. So what is next step? So start coding. Without that, okay, now you feel like I know React something components. I have family with that thing. Okay, that will last for like 1 hour. Then after that, you are done. So if you want to get familiar with React or whatever coding, you learn it, you go now, you code it. If you cannot, then you will forget by 1 hour. So what you have to do is just download the React Node.js and try to code that npx create React app and whatever directory name, then run it. That's all. Then you feel like, hey, I'm doing something. So always code. Otherwise, you see uh, without listening, you cannot learn everything. You have to experience, then it will uh, go much deeper in your brain. So next thing is read official documentation, because it's important. It has everything clearly explained. And state management, actually I cannot tell you much about that thing, but you can ask privately. I'll let you know. So what it does is it does the it use it's change status according to your infraction, and it changes the other part. So it's important nowadays, like industries use Redux. It's another library with using React. So React and Redux work together, or React and Flux you can for use for state management. Then you can then later check you about how you secure your app, authentication, authorization, those stuff. And for unit testing thing, you can unit testing or whatever testing, you can use another library called Jest. That's kind of a industry using framework. Or you can become because this one is I talk more about the front end, but you can use Express.js with React to create full stack development for React. So I think thank you for giving me this opportunity. Maybe this session is much more to hands-on session, and I guess this needs a little bit time. Sorry for not showing you some things at the end, but I hope you guys get some basic knowledge. And you can contact me through Twitter. It's I know these names are kind of awkward, but silent code SL. Or you can go and visit my blog silentcoder.online. It has recently written a blog post about how you install your React. Then, or maybe you can connect me through a FB page. Just slash just say hi Lahiru. I think that's all I have for you guys. Uh, Keep learning. This is very good thing. Use this COVID-19 period to skill up yourself, because after this one industry going very fast. So make yourself to learn something as soon as possible. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Then see you another day with another session.